Hello everyone, I'm Matt Dresselhaus. Let's get into FPTV news tonight. Here are the stories. With Christmas coming up soon, there are some new smartphone apps that can let you help someone in need with a few taps of your finger. Share the Meal is a really effective donation app. Using Share the Meal, you can quickly donate money to the United Nations World Food Program and help someone gain access to food, according to the New York Times. It only costs half of a dollar to feed a child for a whole day. Once you have entered the payment information, you can donate with just one tap. The app reports the number of meals shared, and it links you to news about places where the United Nations help is desperately needed. Another app is Donate a Photo app. With this app, you can choose a charity from a list of trusted causes, then take a photo, or choose one for your phone and upload it. Once you've done this, Johnson & Johnson donates $1 to a charity you choose. You can donate one photo a day, every day, and the app lets you see which causes have achieved their funding goals, according to the Times. Both these apps are free for iOS and Android phones and have been approved by these charities. So get in the holiday spirit and help someone in need today. For our second story, rapper Kanye West is hospitalized after a week being in UCLA Medical Center. His wife, Kim Kardashian West, is by his side and hasn't left since being admitted. According to the source, the initial plan was for Kanye to leave the hospital on Monday, though the decision was tentative depending on the doctor's decision. The source says 39-year-old Kanye has not been diagnosed with anything specific. On Thanksgiving, Kanye remained in the hospital, where Kim spent time with him, but she also got to spend some time with her family's holiday dinner, held at her sister Kylie Jenner's home in Calabasas, California, the source says. And for our third story, this weekend, box office show that Disney cartoon Mona at #1, grossing $82 million. Moving to second place after being #1 is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them with $45 million for the weekend. And finally, third place is Doctor Strange with $13 million. There's also great excitement over the new Star Wars movie, Rogue One, which is coming out December 16th. The movie is expected to be the biggest box office smash of the Christmas season. And now here's Whitney Dowds and Ken Calzaves with your sports recap.
Thanks, Matt. Hello, everyone. I'm Whitney Dowds, and tonight I will be recapping two of the biggest headlines from the NFL action from this past Thanksgiving weekend. To start off, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys continued to roll on Thanksgiving by outlasting the Redskins, 31-26 to now improve to 10-1, as they have now won 10 straight games after losing to the Giants in Week 1. He went 17 of 24 for 195 yards and a touchdown, while also rushing for 8 times for 39 yards and a touchdown on the ground. However, he was helped in a big way by Ezekiel Elliott, who had 20 rushes for 97 yards and a touchdown. These two rookies have been impressive all season long on their way to leading the Cowboys to the best record in the NFL. As they move on to face the Vikings in Week 13, they will look to continue their winning ways on the road against a Vikings team who's 4-1 at home. I think that the Cowboys will lose their second game this week, as even the best quarterbacks have a bad day, and I think the stout Vikings defense could hand Prescott his second loss, but we'll have to wait and see. Turning to more local action, Tom Brady led yet another fourth-quarter comeback against the rival New York Jets in a huge road win by a score of 22-17. The Patriots are now 9-2 on the season. Brady missed 2 practices during the week and missed some throws during the game, which made many speculate whether the knee injury was worse than originally thought. However, when we needed him most, he led an 83-yard drive to win the game late in the fourth quarter by completing an 8-yard touchdown pass to rookie receiver Malcolm Mitchell, who beat Darrelle Revis again. Brady finished 30 for 50 for 285 yards and 2 touchdowns, both of them to Mitchell. As a Patriots fan, I hope the injuries to Brady and Gronk are not too serious and that we both have them ready for the playoffs. In the meantime, they hope to win their 10th game in Week 13 when they host the LA Rams on December 4th. And I think they absolutely will. That's it for this week's NFL action, and now here's Cam with Campus Sports News.
Well, Whitney, it was obviously an exciting week for the NFL. It was also an exciting week for Franklin Pierce sports. Let's begin recapping them. And we do so by starting off with men's ice hockey. And Whitney, it really looked like this men's ice hockey team was going to come out with a victory again in a non-conference game against Wesleyan College. But that wasn't the case, as they ended up losing 8-1. But the key to this game was that Franklin Pierce was in this game early when the game was tied 1-1, but they ended up giving up 4 goals, and then Wesleyan just ended up taking over and scoring 8, and an upsetting loss for Franklin Pierce. One they will definitely bounce back from. We know how impressive Thomas McGuckin can be in net, so looking for them to bounce back from this game as they move on to Fitchburg State on December 3rd at home from the Jason Ritchie Ice Arena. Whitney will hope for improvement from the Franklin Pierce men's ice hockey team because we know they're capable of it. Moving forward onto women's ice hockey. And in their most recent matchup against Holy Cross, this was an NE10 conference matchup. And in this game, we really thought that this team that had been on such a roll would come out and capture a victory. Whitney, unfortunately, we saw a loss for the men's team. We see another loss for the women's team as they end up losing 3-0. And this is obviously a shutout, one that we're surprised by because of how impressive goaltender O'Neill has been all season. I mean, she's been spectacular for this team. So not something we're used to seeing. Definitely see this team bouncing back as they will return to the ice on Friday, December 2nd against Sacred Heart. So we know what this team's capable, this women's ice hockey team. They've been so impressive this season as they have a 7-2-0 record. I mean, 7 wins. They're obviously finding success. I mean, every team has their struggles. Apparently, this game just did not go in their favor. So we will look for this team to bounce back against Sacred Heart University. And to wrap up, Whitney, we'll talk about men and women's basketball. And we obviously know what both of these teams are capable of. We'll begin with the men's team, as unfortunately they dropped their 3rd straight game, Whitney, 85-79. And as I mentioned, their 3rd straight. It's not time to worry because we know they have stars like Dante Gittins, Mike McDevitt. These are key players for this basketball team that will definitely step up. And speaking of McDevitt, he actually matched a career high with 23 points in their most recent game against Felician University, where they unfortunately found themselves with a loss. But great to see that from McDevitt. It's obviously going to be a confidence booster moving forward into their next game. So we'll watch to see if they can bring some success to the table in their next matchup. Fortunately, it was a different story for women's basketball, Whitney, as they won a nail-biter 61-58 from the Fieldhouse. And that was really great to see as they improve to 2-4. And I didn't mention about men's basketball. They actually dropped to 2-4. So both of these teams with even records at 2-4, we both know they're going to move in a positive direction because they have key players, as I mentioned for the men's. Dante Gittins, Mike McDevitt, definitely going to step up. And to mention for women's basketball, players like Sarah Middleton, and I have here Maya Mosley, who corralled a career-high 16 points in this win. So good to see from Mosley. Obviously, she's stepping up, and that's obviously going to cause the players around her to step up. The women's basketball team is going to move in the right direction, and I really see men's ice hockey, women's ice hockey, and this Franklin Pierce men's basketball team stepping up and finding success in the games to come, Whitney.
All right, sounds good.
That about wraps things up for Franklin Pierce Sports. Whitney?
Yeah, we're going to send it right back to the desk. Thank you all for watching. Matt?
And here's Austin Mills with the politics.
Thanks, Pat. While the election has concluded, there are some people who are still contesting the results. While former Governor Gary Johnson went away quietly in the night, Green Party candidate Jill Stein has been very vocal, claiming election results may have been compromised. Following these claims, the Stein campaign has raised nearly $5 million to be able to afford rebounds in 3 key states. Currently, the Stein campaign and Clinton are working cooperatively to ensure that the recount is fair for both sides. Similar proceedings are expected to follow in the states of Michigan and Pennsylvania. Former Cuban dictator known for his victory against the United States during the Cold War, Fidel Castro, has died last week at the age of 90. Leaders all around the world are sending messages, some of praise, others of dissent, about the leadership style of the late dictator, who was known for his harsh tactics against political opponents, as well as being the spearhead for unstable relation with the United States. With Raul Castro, Fidel's brother, being in power and working with the American President and Secretary of State, relations between Cuba and the United States have improved, which including a lift on the embargo of Cuba rum and cigars, as well as more flights into the small island from the U.S. mainland. Here's Haley with the weather.
Hey, we're here at Franklin Pierce University, and this is the weather. Today's Tuesday, and it's quite rainy. There's a high of 44 and a low of 39. Tomorrow, Wednesday, it'll be a little bit better with a high of 49 and a low of 42. On Thursday, there's just a slight chance of rain with a high 53 and a low of 49. And Friday, it'll be much more sunny with a high 49 and a low of 33. Back to you, Matt.
And that's all the news we have tonight, guys. I hope you guys have a great last few weeks before the end of the semester. Tune in next time.